Hi, I'm RC Jim. In the second video, we're going to get into the matter of the electronics and setting up the radio and the motor and do all of those sorts of things on this Hobbyking MX2, getting it all set to go. We'll be doing some testing, working out what the thrust is and how many amps it's drawing, all things that are really important for you to know as you get going with your new plane. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Well, we're nearly there. They tell us in the instructions that now is the time to put on the spinner and the prop, but I want to get the radio sorted out first. And the neat thing about this is, given that we've cut these things, this just simply comes off, just has a couple of magnets that hold it together. So this is going to allow us to get out the power leads and hook them up to the ESC and have them underneath. Okay, there's one. That's three. Okay. With a bit of force on there, I can feel just a little bit of movement. So we will see how this goes. This got a Ace RC Ripper OBL 36/11-40A 1100 kV. Okay, so we need to fish these through to get them connected. And I think I'll probably need to do it with a wire, but we'll just see if I can tape them together and aim them in the right direction and avoid that. Okay, let's see what I can do here. And there we go. Okay. So what we don't know is which one needs to go to which. So we will sort that out before we finalize this. Some sort of imperfection in the threads there. Don't know if that got knocked into something at some stage, but anyway, we'll get those things off. Okay, we can use our servo tester to do this, but we do need to have power. For testing this one, we want to take it down to 1,000, which is going to be zero throttle. We plug that in before we hook up the power to it. Get the big battery plugged into this lead here. I'll prop on it so it's safe. Okay. And now, it's going backwards. So we swap two of the leads. Okay, we've got our servo tester hooked up to the motor with the motor plugged into a battery. $11.85 or so is where the motor starts. $13.95 starts the noise. $14.46. Around about 1790 or so is top throttle. And you feel that nasty sort of thing happening between 14 and 1500. So it appears that these motors have got a bit of resonant frequency. This is the second motor that I've had of that particular variety. It's got a resonant frequency, and there's just that very tiny bit of slop in there. It takes a bit of pressure to actually feel it. But what's happening is there's a very, very slight imbalance, and when it hits the right RPM to get that resonant frequency, that imbalance is enough to make it push out. That, you know, it naturally wants to stay in the middle, but it can go out that little bit. And when it's going out that little bit, it starts making it rattle, and that's what's making that noise. So I wasn't feeling anything nasty in terms of vibration. We'll see how it goes when we get a prop on it, but that will be something to watch. Okay, we're now ready to put the heat shrink onto the power leads. I've marked them R, B, and Y on the end that is all black to distinguish them, in case we have to cut them off in the future and to get in there to change something. That will label the order. We sort of worked out where the middle was, thinking about half of the distance back. I've also got dots on one, a line on one, and blank on one. A little bit of redundancy there, but anyway, it's all good. We have to protect the foam. That foam will get wrecked if it gets hot. So we get our heat gun from our soldering thing. And we will make sure that this is always pointing away from any of the foam stuff on the plane. So we'll get it in here and get these guys going, but making very careful to not get heat on the plane itself. Okay, those are all nicely shrunk. We then, as we go to turn it off, we make sure we don't point it near the plane and put it back on its stand where it's not pointed at the plane. And that is all nicely done. In deciding on a position for the ESC, I think I've decided to put it right here on the that little plywood plate that the landing gear are fastened to. We want to have access to the battery. The back of the battery for the motor is going to be about there. This is what we're expecting in terms of balance from past experience. Okay, so that allows us to be able to get a hold of both connectors well to hook them together. That's out of the way. Gives us a spot where we can get the Velcro stuff on there and have it secure. We got air going down right behind it and air coming in front of it. There's also another air exit directly below the thing there, but that's kind of like the major one. So I think plenty of airflow going past it for cooling. And I do like to have something like that fastened down. No sense knocking around your electronics that are controlling your airplane. Okay, radio is all in. We've got our battery tray held down with Velcro underneath that allow us to shift it forward and back should we need to. I think that's going to be pretty close to being right. We've got our ESC down in the bottom, Velcroed down to that plywood panel down there. That gives us the battery lead up here where we can get at it. Got a receiver down in there. I still need to attach the antennas, but I'll put one horizontal and one vertical antennas there. We've got the power connected. You see on the red connector there, it's got that extra lead going in. That's for the telemetry. That's this little black wire here. It goes into the Lemon receiver so that we can monitor battery voltage as we get up in the air. So I just need to attach the antennas and test weight and balance. We'll check our control throws on the various control surfaces, and then we'll do some testing of the motor to see how that goes. And now the antennas are installed, one vertical, one horizontal. Checking out the stabilization function on this. Get the wire out of the way. You see what kind of appears like two red lights in there. The one on the top left says that the receiver is on and connected to the transmitter. The one that's right in the center, sort of lower and to the right from the other one, the way you're looking at it now, that's actually two lights, and that indicates that we got stabilization set up for a normal, a model with a normal tail and a single channel for ailerons. If we arm our stabilization, then we add a green light next to the red light in the upper left-hand corner. And again, that's kind of hard to see in the video, but there'd be a green light right next to the red one in the corner there. You can just get a glimpse of it like that. Okay, so that indicates the stabilization is on. And of course, with stabilization, we'll crank up our gain all of the way. What we're looking for is when we raise a wing, it should go up. Let's say, looking at that one, it should go down when I raise this side. And that's kind of hard to see, but that's exactly what's happening. And we do the same thing with the tail. Lift up the tail, it goes up. Push the rudder that way. The rudder ought to turn the same way that you pushed it. And that indicates that our stabilization is operating, and it's all good. Okay, we are ready to do our test. Okay, we have 16.5 volts. Okay, so we are all set to go. We turn on our power meter. Okay, zero that out with nothing on it. Okay, that's zeroed out. 0.06 of an amp at the moment. Arm our throttle. We do have right plane, I trust. Yeah, we got control. Okay.
Auto active armed.
Okay. Okay, 69 amps, and we got up to 3 kilos of thrust. Now earlier I tested it with 15.27 volts, and I got 2.6 kilos and 59 amps. We've got a 60 amp ESC in here, and it's not warm. Battery's not warm. So I didn't do long enough to cause any problems. But anyway, 69 amp ESC, and the motor, okay, that's supposed to be 50 amps for 60 seconds. Okay, so that's for a full minute. It can do 50 amps. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's also around 60 amps for the very brief, 15 seconds or something like that. So we'd want to be very careful with regard to full throttle, but it's not likely that we're going to need to use full throttle too much. Let's just unplug her. And then we'll see what she weighs. We did, by the way, alter the hole a little bit back here so that fits on snugly. Okay, 1.5 kilos basically. So with over 2 kilos of thrust, very clearly we can hover. And around 3, we can shoot sky high pretty quick. Thank you again for watching. I trust that this has been helpful to you. Make sure that if you haven't done so already, that you subscribe. That keeps all these things handy, and you'll be able to find the next videos and so forth. And speaking of the next videos, hey, before too long, over there you will have a link to the maiden flight, and that's going to be exciting. So you have a great day, and enjoy your flying.